Welcome back to the show. A couple things before we get started. I think we had some audio issues with this episode, so if you want to listen, but I don't know if there's anything I can do to fix it. There's some dropouts, and I think the recording didn't go quite well, but I'm going to post it anyway, because that's kind of part of this whole experiment, is that I just post what I got. So here it is. I don't know how well it was recorded. I'm not going to listen to the whole thing, but I guess you can let me know. The other thing is I'm changing the name of the show. It's only the second episode, but I'm changing the name of the show to Miscellaneous Important Stuff. We'll see if that sticks, but that's what it's going to be for now. On today's episode, I had one of my best friends on, Nick, and we played a word association game. We had a lot of fun, and I'll probably do some more episodes like this, but here it is, and I hope you enjoy. Okay, here we go. Timer is started.
Okay.
So we only have 40 minutes. So just to set it up real quick, we're going to play, I don't know, what do you call the name of this game?
Random word game.
Yeah, so we got the random word generator pulled up. I have it only on verbs right now. I think that seemed to work better. So one word, verb, and we're going to try to tell a story from the words that come up, right? So if I can tell a story, or if you can tell a story, we'll each get a point for it, and then we win prizes if we have more points.
And we don't have to come up with a story. If we can't come up with a story, we just don't get a point for it.
Yeah, so I'll just keep reading them out until either you say you have a story or I say I have a story, and then we'll just go into that, and then I guess we can do that for 40 minutes.
Yeah, I think we can.
Okay, so here we go. First word, gaze.
Oh, man. Gaze.
Like Gaze.
Okay, so I think I've got a story.
Okay.
I think it actually is a story that you already know.
Oh, that's perfect. I still want to hear it.
Okay, so do you get a chance to steal, or like how do we want to do, or do you get a chance to get a point for the same one, or is it the first one that thinks of a story?
I think it's the first one that thinks of a story gets the point, but I could still tell a story. I just won't get a point.
So, okay. I guess I get the point for this if I really do have a story. So sometimes I get into my own head, and I tend to lose track of where I'm looking. There was a time where we were at a Taco Bell and I was just gazing off to the distance, and I am in this like daze or like just like in my own thoughts, and I'm sitting there, and then after maybe at least 30 seconds probably, I come out of this and I see that I'm gazing right at this guy's crotch and then I've probably been looking right at his crotch for at least 20 seconds, and then like I think he was looking over at me whenever I looked up, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I really need to pay attention to where I'm looking.
Was this like across the restaurant?
Yeah, it was actually I was on the other end of the restaurant.
Did you guys talk about it?
We didn't. No. Luckily, he didn't come up and say, "Hey, what's your number?"
Yeah. Hey, I saw you looking that way.
That's right. Yeah.
I think that deserves a point.
Okay. Thank you.
And I've had similar experiences like that. I remember doing something like that in 5th grade, just being in class and just weirdly looking off into the distance and realizing I wasn't paying attention at all, but that's much better than mine.
Yeah.
Because nobody was watching me. All right, next word. Hear. Like Hear.
Okay.
Hear.
I think you have some stories about things that you've heard from the apartment.
Oh, that's right. You're much better at this than I am.
I
even for telling me stories. From this apartment, or are you talking about my other apartment?
Whichever one, whatever's your best story.
Oh, the best story. Actually, it's kind of a sad story, but at the apartment I lived in previous to this one, I hadn't been there that long, and I was in the bottom floor, and there was we both had fireplaces, but it went up through the second floor apartment, and then the chimney was like above the apartment. So you could hear what people were doing up through that passage.
Right.
And I heard my neighbors a lot. I could hear conversations they were having. And one night it was just crazy. There was yelling, and somebody, I guess it was either a husband and wife or boyfriend and girlfriend. There were kids up there too. And they were fighting, and it sounded like this guy was tearing apart the apartment, and the lady started yelling, and they went outside, and then I'm like out on my porch trying to listen to it. I'm recording it on my phone. I'm wondering if I should call the cops, and she yells at the kids to leave, and the kids are crying, and then they walk right by my door, and I don't know what happened after that. I kept trying to listen, but I made sure to just lock the door and keep to myself.
So it was basically just a huge argument between a couple.
Yeah, but I worried if it was more than that, just because of what it sounded like. I don't know for sure. I didn't see anything. And since they left, I didn't call anybody, but it sounded like furniture was being knocked over. And
oh my gosh.
I was like, okay, I'm in I think a 12-month lease for this place.
So yeah, I think that you've heard a lot, like, gosh, even here, I think you were talking about how the pipes.
Yeah, it's better here, but I've heard, people having sex and all kinds of stuff.
The typical apartment.
I guess that is typical apartment stuff, because I've heard that at the other one.
Yeah.
Heard another screaming fight at my last apartment where I could stand in the bathroom and I could hear everything they were saying. They're just yelling at each other.
Wow.
Probably drunk. But.
So I can't think of a really good one for here, but yeah, I'd definitely would give you the point for that.
Point
for you.
Do you have one?
I can't think of one. Do you, can you think of anything else that?
Oh, you said I can't think of one for here. I thought you meant for here, like my apartment.
No, for H-E-A-R.
For here. Got it.
Yeah.
No, I can't.
But anytime I lost my hearing or anything, I can't think of anything like that.
No, I would remember that if there was a time you lost your hearing.
Okay, let's go on to the next one.
Okay. Push.
Oh my gosh. There's a show called Push, right?
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Have you've watched the show?
I have watched the show. I don't know that counts as a story from personal experience, but that is a good show. Yeah. It's a Netflix show, isn't it?
Yeah, with
we're doing promoting right now.
Yeah, Darren Brown. Is it Darren Brown? Oh, that is a good show. If anybody listening hasn't watched that is a good show.
Hey, I actually will give another tip. Don't know whether this is really a good story, but I always struggle whenever I'm leaving places where it's not marked very clearly, the doors, whether to push or pull. And I think I don't remember who I heard it from, but it's been right most of the time. But based on fire code, every time you're leaving, like if you're inside a building, it's push. You have to be able to push to get out, I guess, just in case a lot of people are trying to leave at the same time.
That makes sense.
And there's a crowd, you don't have to pull to try to get out. So I don't know whether that's true. That's what I heard, and it's been right a lot of the times.
So, but that doesn't mean when you're outside going in, then it's always going to be pulled, does it? It could push both ways.
It could go both ways, and then in that case, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and in that case, the tip does nothing for me.
Yeah.
Well, no, it does. If I'm inside,
you still can't push, right?
So it only half helps me.
Yeah.
Noted.
Okay, that's not a great one for push. Do you have one?
No, I don't.
Okay, we can pass, I guess.
I'm trying to think of times I've been pushed.
Been pushed.
That's the first thing that came to mind. Have I been pushed?
Was there anything about backyard football where there was a push?
Nothing that stands out.
Okay, we can move on then.
I think we should give ourselves 3 seconds.
Okay.
And if we can't think of it, then we'll just move on.
Okay.
I'll give you a point for that.
You'll give me a point for the fire.
It was a good tip.
Okay.
I'll always remember that, probably.
And if it's wrong, you'll come back and hate me.
Yeah, but I'll still remember that you originally said it. Okay, next word. Travel. Oh, there's about 1 million for those.
Yes, gosh.
I got one.
Go ahead.
Well, it'd be yours too, but sure. Just us deciding when we were 18 or 17 or whenever we decided to go on a road trip after graduating with our then 17-year-old friend that we were legally responsible for. Which now thinking about, that's crazy.
Legal guardians, not just legally responsible.
Oh yeah, legal guardians.
We as 18-year-olds were our 17-year-old friends' legal guardians.
That is insane.
It is.
Because I remember at the time thinking, yeah, whatever we got to do to go, like that's fine. Yeah. But we were his parents.
I don't know exactly what we said, but we made some jokes about like telling him to brush his teeth and like go to bed early.
Yeah, and it's funny because we were both in the front seat.
Yep.
And then he was in the back like a child.
Like a child
should be. Got to buckle him up. And it was in my tiny Geo Metro that it was just big enough to get all our luggage in, and then Calvin was able to be on one side of the car in the back, and that was it.
Yeah. And
then we did it for $1,000 each. We were gone for 2.5 weeks, I think.
I think it was somewhere around there. I know one extra part of this was we tried to go to Las Vegas. Yeah. And we didn't really, I think most of it we tried to not plan too far ahead.
Yeah, we had because at the time we were doing MapQuest. So we had to we had to plan our big moves, like from this city to this city. But other than that, it was like, let's just see what we can do.
So we were in Las Vegas as 18-year-olds, not old enough to legally drink, and we were in the hotel trying to figure out something to do for the night. And I remember calling around to all these places trying to see if we could like if we could attend some of these comedy shows or any of the shows. And basically it was like 1 drink minimum.
Yeah.
Like the cover charge included a drink. And so none of the places like were allowing, like we couldn't go to a lot of the shows because of our age.
Yeah, it wasn't much of a party for us.
No.
And the first thing that happened when we got to Las Vegas was, when we got to the Strip, that guy came up to us and said, "You guys are looking to party? Do you smoke? You want to smoke some? Or you want to buy some weed?" I was like, man, it was just so weird because that just wasn't the norm for us.
Yeah.
First time in Las Vegas, or really out of state in that way on our own.
Yep.
But we made it from Oklahoma all the way to the coast, California coast, on our own.
I just spilled water all down myself. Okay. So I definitely give you the point for that. That was a good one.
Okay. And do you have one? I assume you do.
Do you want me to? Was that enough time on travel, or do you want me to
spend more time on travel?
Gosh, I've got several.
Get a little bit closer to that mic, too.
Sure. Sorry. Shoot, I could tell stories about my trips to the Philippines. I could tell stories about my cruises. Yeah, I guess on my cruises, I always go down to Mexico, and Jay will be able to attest to this. I don't spend a lot of time off the ship. Like the groan is appropriate right there. So I don't remember, what did you want to do? Like you wanted to go shopping and looking at like all the different like stalls and
whatever port we were in, we just whatever that was, I don't remember, but yes.
Yeah, so like I think the first one that we went on had like 3 different ports of call.
Yeah.
And I basically would get off the ship and look for like an hour or half an hour and basically say, yeah, okay, I've seen it.
I'm done here.
I'll get back on the ship and eat all I can eat again.
Yeah, which is fine. It's just like we had very different thoughts on what to do at ports.
Oh, for sure.
And I remember you liked to, what I always remember, I don't even know if this was every night, but you watched Forensic Files. And maybe because that's the only thing that was on, because it was cruise ship TV, but it was like every night, I swear, Forensic Files was on TV.
Yep.
It seemed like the wrong thing to be watching on a cruise ship. They shouldn't even have it available. It was just about murder.
Yeah, exactly. No, I will say that with my mom, whenever I've gone on cruises, we've done excursions, and so I'll be like out all day at the ports.
Yeah.
So it has been different, but without the excursions, it's like I didn't want to spend all the time shopping.
And since I've been on more cruises now, like that's a little more boring because a lot of the ports are really just shopping.
Yeah.
Especially when it's the ones they've built. It's not local at all. It's just like they just built it. It's like an American shopping center.
Yeah.
But the I did one excursion which was like think it was the last cruise I went on, a speedboat
Mm-hmm.
thing that went underwater, sort of. Like they got up to a really high speed and then they'd stop really fast and then it would like sort of dive into the water a little bit where you just felt like the water was right over your head. It felt a little unsafe. Okay.
I think we spent enough time on travel.
Yeah. Next word. Sanction.
Sanction.
I got nothing.
Are you like, this is like, oh my god.
It's already been 3 seconds.
Yeah,
See?
okay.
Express.
Express, man. So is this like an express checkout at Walmart?
It could be that.
Okay, yeah, I guess I'll tell a little bit of a story. It's not much of a story. It's just something that I always do. At the express checkout lines at Walmart, anywhere I go, I am not a very great Spanish speaker, but I 100% of the time whenever I'm using those machines, since I already know what to do, I will always switch them over to Spanish. And like I don't really learn anything from it. There's not really any point to it, but it's just something that I always do.
Maybe you get some respect from people around you.
Yeah.
Like, wow, I didn't.
Wow.
He doesn't look like he speaks Spanish.
But that is awesome.
Wow.
Congratulations.
He seems to know what he's doing.
Yeah. Oh, he knows that he needs to scan the next item.
Wow. Yeah, I think you did that with me once.
Yeah. No, like I said, I basically always put it onto Spanish.
Do you ever have it where it's like really loud and it's
No.
people are just like, what?
What is
Oh, wow.
I have had people look at me weird, but
That's just daily though.
yeah, that's true.
Next word. Own.
Wait a second. Do I not get a point for that?
Oh, sorry. You do get a point. You do get a point. That is 3 points, Nick. 2 points, Jay.
It's a close match.
It is a close match. It's intense. Own. OWN. Oh, I can think of one.
Okay.
So, well, no, it says a verb though. Does it matter?
No.
Okay. So, buying my first car. So, my Chevy Aveo.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember going to the dealership. I went there like in the worst situation you can be in where you really needed a car.
Yep.
And they knew it. They knew it. I got taken advantage of for sure. And this was 2008 now. So it was 10 years ago. I didn't know what I was doing, but I went in. The car, I got it. I wanted to get it because it was the cheapest new car you could get. Still had the roll-up windows. It was a standard, like super cheap, but it was a hatchback. I loved it. I think it was like $10,000, $10,000 or $11,000. And when I left there, because of all the extras they put on and the warranty and all that stuff, I think I ended up paying over 16.
Wow.
And I had no idea. Because of course they did the thing where they show you the monthly payments. They don't show you what you're actually paying.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know any better. And I remember figuring it out later and just feeling so stupid.
Yep.
And then I've always loved the way you bought your last car.
Yep.
I've told a lot of people that story.
Yep.
So now you should tell that story.
Okay. So I guess I'll tell my story now.
But I still get the point.
Yeah, obviously, since you went first. So yeah, thank you for the lead in.
Yes, you're welcome.
So I was looking to buy a car. I did need to get a car pretty soon, but that wasn't something that I was going to let them know. Like you said, that's one thing that they use to take advantage of you. So I researched the price up front. I figured out from my uncle about things called like holdback and like how much the actual dealer has to make a profit off of. And so I went in knowing like how much I could get the car for and still allow them to make some money as well. And so I went into the first dealership and I said that I didn't want to play games. I was there to buy a car. I was ready. I had the money there, ready to buy a car. I said my offer. And I said, if you come back with a counter, I am out of here and I will go and look somewhere else. So the the person comes up or comes back and starts just talking about like a figure that was higher than what I said. And I was like, okay, thank you. And I started walking to my car, and he was chasing me down saying, oh no, wait, come back. And I didn't stop. I got in my car and I drove to another dealership.
Yes, you are a man of your word.
Exactly. That's right. Drove to another dealership. Once I got to that dealership, I said, hey, I just left another dealership. They wanted to play games with me. I'm not looking to play games. This is how much I'm willing to buy the car for. I've got it ready to give to you. So if you want to play games, I'll go look somewhere else. And so they came back and they said that they were willing to give it for that amount. And so I was in and out, had everything done from the time that I started the first conversation to the time that I was out the door of the second place. I think it was all within 2 hours.
Oh, that's the best.
Yeah. And that was even with the drive time between the two places.
Man. Yeah, that's great. How did you decide how much money to leave them, though?
So I think it basically, one, it's just like, how much the holdback is. And so giving them like, I think the holdback was somewhere around like $600 or something for the one. And I was leaving basically $400 or $500 of that.
So that's what they would get?
Yeah.
See,
yeah.
that's, and for $400 or $500 in 15 minutes for them.
Exactly.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like, I wasn't like, to me, it wasn't worth like trying to fight over like $300 or anything.
Yeah. Especially when you're talking several
car,
thousand.
Yeah, exactly. And so I went in there with something that was reasonable. I wasn't trying to get anything over on them. It may have been a minimal commission for the person selling the car, but even if it's minimal, they don't have to spend a lot of time chasing me around, making phone calls and like trying to get me in. Another thing that's helpful is like going in at the end of the month whenever they actually need to make a sale in order to get their numbers. But
because if they get to a certain number, then they get money from like the manufacturer, right?
Well, and the salesmen also have sales targets that they need to get as well. Yeah.
See, and we're learning something on this show too.
Again, from somebody that's not all that knowledgeable on it, most of the information that I've got is from talking to people that are more knowledgeable. So
that's usually how you get knowledgeable on things.
It is, but like there may be some parts of it that I'm not saying exactly correctly. But yeah,
still, I just love that. Just walking out, and it's almost better that you walked out of one first because you can say that I've already walked out of one place, and I'll do it again.
Exactly.
Okay, next word. O. O-W-E. O.
Oh.
No, not that O.
Oh.
I mean, the only stories I have are about like owing money, and I don't really want to talk about owing money.
Yeah, I mean, I have some stories about people owing me money as well, but I don't know if those are stories that I want to.
All right, let's just move on. Idolize. I mean,
I don't really have a great story for that.
I don't think I do either. Strike.
Ooh, this could be like a working strike. It could be like hitting something. It could be
like bowling.
Ooh, we should probably do something bowling since we used to go bowling all the time.
Yeah, we did, but is there any good bowling stories?
I guess my only good bowling story wasn't even from when we bowled together.
Oh, well, that's fine.
So I was actually trying out for the bowling team.
In high school?
In high school, yeah. And I wasn't the greatest. And there were people in there that you could tell that they bowled all the time. They had their own ball and everything. I was just using the house ball, and so I learned different strategies for like using the boards for like positioning where you stand and like how many steps you're taking. And so they taught me all that like during the several week tryouts. But then I ended up getting, to relate it back to strike, I ended up getting 4 strikes in a row at one point, which is a 4-bagger. And I bowled my first 200 game. And like,
Man.
yeah, I know. Like that, it's my first. It's my only 200 game.
Was that like at practice?
It was at a tryout, basically.
Okay.
Like they call them practices, but they were basically tryouts. And so I think that it was a 16-person team, and at the end of it, I ended up getting into number 17.
Ah.
And so I was like I was the first alternate
Still.
to make the team. But
How many people tried out?
oh gosh, maybe 25 or
Okay.
something like that. It wasn't like hundreds or anything.
See, if it was hundreds, it's like, man, you're a
right there.
pretty good bowler.
No, I didn't have the spare conversion rates and everything that they need, which whenever you're bowling on a team, it's very important to be able to pick up the spares.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even more important, probably getting a strike, right? If
Yeah.
you can like almost guarantee a spare.
Yep. Exactly.
I've never got a 200.
Yep. I have only gotten it once, and man, it was like, wow, what is that?
Who am I?
I know that most of the time when we go bowling, you bowl higher than I do, but that high score, I get to.
Yeah. And even now, because it's so long between bowling, like I think one of the last times I went, I didn't even get to 100.
Yep.
Now, I want to attribute that partly to the lanes. I think they were terrible lanes.
I know you want to.
I want. Yeah, it really was just me not being good anymore. I don't go bowling that much. But
Yeah, last time I bowled, I didn't do all that great.
even when I was younger in the summers, we'd go all the time because if you went on Tinker Air Force Base, where we used to go a lot, but it was so cheap in the summers on a certain day.
It was like $1.25 or something per game.
So we would do it all the time.
Crazy cheap, yeah.
And that's how I got okay at it.
Yeah, and we didn't even have to pay tax or anything, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it's even better. Next word. Leak.
Oh man.
Leak.
Wait, did I get the point for that?
Did I put that down? No, I didn't. You do get the point.
I'm
4
trying
to 3.
to keep you honest.
I appreciate it. That's why I have it out, so you can see the score here on the paper.
4 to 3. So I'm going to give you the opportunity since it's 4 to 3. Leak. It could be about some sort of vegetable, or it could be about a drain. Could be about having to go to the bathroom.
Oh man. Oh well. Leak. Depends on what I consider a leak. Nothing comes to mind. You know what? I feel like you got one.
I actually don't.
Oh. Well, you have
3 seconds.
2, 1.
No. Okay. Let's move on.
Leer. Leer.
Leer. I don't feel
Nothing.
like I don't have a good one.
Banish.
Banish. Oh my goodness.
That seems harsh.
It is very harsh. I don't know if I've ever been banished. Have I done any banishing?
Well, it's too late.
No, I haven't, apparently.
Leave. That could be. That's very general.
Mm-hmm.
Leave.
It could be a leave of absence.
It could be a leave.
Like it's maybe sometime where you had to leave early.
Oh, nothing.
Okay.
Blur.
Blur. Vision's a blur.
I can think about my eyes.
Okay, go ahead. You can think about your eyes.
I do think about my eyes when I hear blur, because when I was, anywhere from probably 11, 12 and on, my vision started getting blurry, but I hadn't gone to the eye doctor yet. And even when I did, I never wanted to wear my glasses. And so it was okay in junior high because I could sort of like squint. And and like make out what was on the overhead
Right.
projector. But it was so dumb because now I'll wear glasses and I like glasses. But then it was just like I was so concerned with what I looked like, and I didn't want people to think I was stupid or nerdy. So I didn't want to put them on in class.
Wait, stupid or nerdy is like.
What do you mean?
I'm just kidding. Stupid and nerdy are typically on the opposite.
They are,
spectrum,
but no, well, it depends because it like back then, like to be a nerd, I think is maybe different than if someone were to call me that now.
Right.
So yeah, I feel like that's much more cool to be now.
Yeah.
Nerd
cool,
or
cool
geek.
to be a nerd.
Yeah.
Geek chic.
Yeah.
Okay. We can move on.
Okay.
So basically just about your glasses and now how you're more comfortable with it now.
Yeah, and it's very disappointing because it would have made class so much easier if I just wore them.
Yeah.
But it was so hard to see back then. And then even when I drove with glasses, I felt like I had to let everyone know I only wear these when I drive. Don't like judge me. I don't wear these all the time.
Yeah.
You can be seen with me.
You can be seen. Okay, 4-4.
Okay. And next word. Cleave.
Cleave, like a meat cleaver?
Or like cleavage. I don't know.
Cleavage? Cleveland Brown?
Cleave. Sure. Spelled different.
Spelled very different. But
next word.
yeah, let's go to the next word.
Obstruct.
Gosh.
It's been 3 seconds, but I'm going to give you like a few more.
I'm trying to think of a time where we were trying to film and we were in.
Obstructed something.
Yeah.
I mean, that probably happened all the time.
I'm sure it happened all the time. I know that the time that was coming into my head was not really a obstruction. It was the old folks home.
You know what? That's what I thought of too. So why don't you go ahead and just tell it?
I don't know if I have a great way to talk about it, but basically we were filming a fight scene for our James Bond parody called James Blonde.
Mm-hmm. Classic
James Blonde 2-part series.
Yeah, that was James Blonde 2?
I think this one was James Blonde.
James Blonde 2, the much anticipated sequel that never came out.
The epic.
Yes.
I can't even talk about it. But yeah, I think I was in a fight with Kyle.
Yeah, see that part I don't even remember.
I don't remember it very well, but we weren't even like choreographing it all that well. We were fake fighting, but like not really making a lot of contact. And obviously there's a camera there and we were obviously not hurt or anything. But we were doing it apparently next to an old folks home, and somebody in that old folks home had called the police on us, saying that we were fighting. And so the police came out and tried to like see what we were doing, make sure that we weren't fighting. And do you have anything to continue off of that? Or?
No, just yeah, exactly that they came out. But the great thing about Oklahoma is you can make a little movie and they're just like, okay, cool, as long as you're not hurting anybody.
Thought you were bleeding.
Yeah, because I guess they just saw us out the window.
Yeah.
But the other part of that was, I think we were trying to make it look like we were hitting, I think, Kyle with a car. So maybe that's part of it. Okay. Now, we didn't like speed at him. I think the idea was put the camera on the tripod, slowly roll towards him, and then have him react, and then we'll speed it up later.
Right.
But I'm sure it looked real weird, especially if you didn't see the camera. Because
so we were trying to hit this guy with a car.
Yeah, because it was like behind the old folks' home or community, and it was like a gravel road. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure, especially to them, they're like, "What are these kids doing?"
What are they doing? Yeah.
And it was a small camera, so I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't even see it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good one. I'll give you a point for that.
Even though it may not be the best relation. But
well, we could look at it like Kyle was obstructing the road and I was trying to
hit him. Okay.
Unobstruct him with my car.
Well, I get the point, so I'll take it.
Okay. Let's see. We got 6.5 minutes left. So next word. Except. Next word.
Okay.
Survive. I got one.
I think you're gonna do it on that. I think, but go ahead.
Is it about my arm?
No, I was gonna the survivor.
Oh, that's a good one. Well, you could tell that one.
No, I wasn't part of that. I was part of the idea generation. But
no, you were going to it, weren't you? Were you still in at that time? Nobody knows what we're talking about. Yeah. So
let's move on.
Okay, so what was I? Oh, my broken arm. I broke my arm when I was 11, 12. Mm-hmm. Now I wasn't like gonna die, but I do remember there being a moment where I was like, let me back up. So we were at the Wichita Mountains.
Go ahead. Start from the beginning.
Let me catch everyone up here. So we were at the Wichita Mountains. We were boulder hopping. Were you on that camp out?
I was not.
Okay, so this is for Boy Scouts. Our Boy Scout troop went to the Wichita Mountains, and we'll like rappel and we'll boulder hop and we'll hike and all that. So we were going up Mount Scott, and I think we had already gotten to the top, and we kind of wandered around back down a little bit. And I still to this day don't know exactly how it happened, and maybe because I hit my head, which I did. Mm-hmm. But I was like climbing down from a boulder, and there was another one I think right below me. I was just gonna hop down. Like there was no part of me that was like this is unsafe or I should be worried. I thought I was just hopping down somewhere. Yeah. And then the next thing I remember is like tumbling. I still have that image in my head, like head over heels almost. That's what it felt like. Yeah. And then landing in the grass and just being like, what happened? The back of my head was bleeding. Yeah. I stood up and I was okay. But then I remember my left arm hurt, and another guy in the troop, Greg, I don't know if he saw it or he saw it afterwards, but he had to help me get back up the mountain. And he reached for my arm. I was like, no, I can't, not with my left arm. And he like used the other one. Like he helped me get back to the top, right. But then they took me to the hospital and found out I'd broken my arm really high up by the shoulder. Yeah. And I don't think I had a concussion or anything, but the back of my head was bleeding. So I probably hit that on a rock. But
I'm sure you had some sort of concussion. May not have been a major.
Probably. Now looking at it, yeah, especially the more we learn about even little concussions.
Exactly.
But I think I could have very easily died, which is weird to say. But yeah, if I was like rolling, like I could have hit my head differently. I don't know.
Yeah. Like if you hit the temple or something, like it's very sensitive.
Because I also remember rolling and thinking, I think it was, I didn't want to, I was hoping that I would like pass out, which is, and I only say that because I think I was scared as it was happening. Like,
well, I don't want to be a part. I don't want to know what's going on.
I don't want to know. So I'm lucky that I was pretty much okay. The arm didn't come out. I just had to have it in a sling forever for like 8 weeks. But anyway.
So I know that we're running low on time.
We got 3 minutes and 10 seconds. That's enough time for a story.
So, but we also may need a tiebreaker. So my survive story, I guess if you want to talk about near-death experiences.
Always.
The closest I think I've ever gotten was whenever it was raining really hard, and I was in my car. I was on the highway and stuck behind this humongous semi that was like basically not going at all. I mean, it was going, but it wasn't going like very fast.
Yeah.
So I would have been stuck there for the whole night. I'm over-exaggerating there.
That's okay. It's your story.
So I try to go around this semi, and the semi is shooting a whole bunch of water out from under its tires. And so like it's completely like all over my windshield, like it's just water from this semi. I keep driving and I finally get past what the semi was. Obviously it's long because it's a semi. So I have all this water on me this whole time. I come out from the end of the water, and I see that I'm off the road. And so I freak out. I react really quick and swerve back onto the road. The second that I get back onto the road, those dividers started up.
Oh my God.
So I was like really, really close to going headfirst into a divider at like 40, 50 miles an hour.
That's crazy.
Which would not have ended very well.
Man, that's terrifying.
I was very, like, my heart was racing.
When you realized that?
Yes. I was like, wow. Oh my gosh.
Because I've thought about that. Like what would happen if you hit one of those when you see something like that. Whew. That's crazy. That's maybe a better story, but I get the point.
you definitely do get the point.
Okay, we have 55 seconds, and I think for a tiebreaker, maybe we'll do the next word.
Okay.
And then we got to tell a story in like 30 seconds.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be a complete story.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Use. Anything? I'm going to say no. I don't feel like it's a good word. Count. We got 30 seconds. I'm going to do just whatever comes up first. Okay. Surge.
Something about electrocution.
Does it have to be a story about me?
Just.
Oh, wait. Never mind. I can't use that one.
Tiebreaker.
Bat. B-A-T.
Oh, gosh. Something about baseball.
Yes. I got one. Okay. So
wait, I've got a better one. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I don't have one.
I got 8 seconds. So I was in Austin on a trip with an ex-girlfriend, but I took my drone and we flew the drone by the bridge where the bats all fly out. There's the alarm. Okay, so I'll just finish up real quick. So I had taken it off right next to the bridge.
Yeah.
It was all fine, and then all of a sudden it just lost power or started to go crazy and it crashed. And the only explanation I could ever come up with is that one of those bats hit it, because there were thousands of them everywhere. Mm-hmm. Didn't even consider that, but I think it hit the drone and just crashed it straight into the top of a boat, and it just destroyed it. Wow. And there's my story.
Hey, yeah, I will graciously give you the victory.
Thank you so much.
It was good to be on here.
Thanks for coming on. We'll do it again. I like this game.
Yeah, I think that it was a very simple game, but it definitely was thought provoking and allowed us to be creative with it.
It could be modified, I think. Yeah. But yeah, I like what we did.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I'll talk to you later. Thanks again to Nick for coming on the show. Sorry about the audio issues. You know what? I think I might just need to restart my computer, but because I'm noticing even in the intro and outro, there's some issues with that too. But I'll get it fixed. Hopefully by next week, it'll be a little bit better. But thanks for listening, and I'll see you soon.